Hello soulmates, you are welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. So in today's video, you'll be learning how to curl this BUBU dress with a cowl, a little bit of cowl effect with a band at the sleeve that can be tied. Yes, so let's get right to the video. So we'll be needing your fabric, a bias, a scissors, a tape, and of course a long ruler. So for this project, I'm using 3 yards of flower chiffon fabric. Yes, so I'm using the whole of the 3 yards for the project. So what I'm just going to do now, I'll fold my fabric into 4. I'll fold it in 4 folds. So I've already done that. So I just want to show you how I folded it with a paper. So assuming that is the whole of my fabric, so I'll just fold it into 2 and I fold into 2 again, making 4. That's exactly what I did on my fabric. So we'll start by drawing a starting point, like a guideline. If you watch my previous video, you always know that I like drawing out a starting point. So that's just what I'm trying to do now. So just make sure it's a straight line. So the next thing we're going to do now is to measure the neck width. So for my neck width, I'm using 3.5 inches for the neck width. So I'll go to the other edge, I'll come down by 1 inches for my shoulder slant or shoulder slope. So after that, I'm just going to use the ruler to connect the two together. That is my neck width and my 1 inch for shoulder slope. After which, I'm going to measure my neck depth for both the front and the back. So the back neck depth, I made use of 4 inches because I don't want it too wide, while the front neck depth, I made use of 2 inches. So I'm just going to use a curve ruler to connect it back to the neck width, both of them. So this is the width. So guys, after that, the next thing to do is to measure the width of the dress. So you can decide to leave yours like that, but I don't want mine to be too big, to be too bugos. So I'm just going to measure my width. So the width, I made use of 18 inches plus extra 1 inch for sewing allowance or seam allowance. So you can use more, you can use less, it just depends on what you want. So after that, I'm just going to use a ruler to connect it from the top part all the way to the hem of the dress. That is my width where I measured. It's going to be a slanted line. Yes, it's not going to be straight. As I said earlier, if you want yours to be straight, you can make yours like that. It depends on what you want. So after that, we just cut out. So start cutting out the neck, the back neck, sorry. Please don't cut out the front neckline, except you want the neck of yours to be the same, both the front and the back. So I'm just cutting out the shoulder slant. The next thing to do now is to impute the round sleeve measurement. My round sleeve is 9 inches plus extra 1 inch, making 10. I'm just going to use the whole of it. I'm not dividing it at all because I want to make pleats or gathers around the armhole. So I just went in there by 2 inches, sorry 1 inch. Then I just use a curve to curve it. Yes, all the way down. So I'm just going to cut it out now. So before cutting it out, we're just going to use a ruler to connect the new line back to the shoulder. Connect back to the hem of the dress. So you're just going to cut it out like so. And after cutting out, this is how it looks like. I haven't cut out the front neck yet. That's the the round sleeve. And that's the hem of the dress. So the next thing we're going to do now is to shape the hem of the dress. Yes, this is what I mean by shaping. You just to give it a curve at the edge to avoid pointy edge, or a sharp edge rather. So just going to measure the middle, which I have 9 inches. From that point, you go up by 2 inches. then you just give it a slight curve as I've done in the video. So after that, you just cut it out, give it a nice curve, and we are done with the cutting. So let's just go over to the sewing process. So for the sewing process, the first thing is to use a bias to turn the neckline, which after you join the two shoulders together, you place it right side to right side, like so. Use half of an inch to stitch the shoulder, then use the bias tape to round it. So I have already done that. This is how it looks like, and I have ironed it as well. Please make sure you always iron while sewing. It gives you a neat finish at the end of the day. So this is it. So the next thing to do now is to work on the sleeve area. I've already cut out my band for the sleeve. This is the band. So the width I have 2 inches. After stitching with half inches, it will be remaining 1.5 inches. And the length, I think I have about 15 inches on fold, while open that is 30 inches. So I'm just notching the center of the 2 bands. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to give pleats around the armhole. As it is like this, just give it pleats or gathers, anyhow you want it to be. So after that, this is how it looks like. And after making your pleat, make sure the pleat is exactly your round sleeve measurement. You remember we did not divide it while we are cutting, so making your pleat or your gathers is going to be your exact armhole measurement. So I'm trying to measure it. So I have 8 inches like so, which is my round sleeve. So let's work on the band. So for the band, what I'm just going to do now is to impute my round sleeve measurement. So my round sleeve is 8 inches. So from the middle like so, I'll measure 4, which is half of each, 8. While the second side, I'll measure 4, making 8 inches in total, while the other part will be to tie. So I'll just go ahead to the sewing machine to stitch with half inches, which I've already done so, and I stopped at exactly my round sleeve measurement, remember. So I'm just giving it a notch like so. Just take a look at the video carefully to see what I'm doing. Give it a notch like so. So this is how it looks like. So I'm just trying to trim off the excess seams around it so it can balance. This is it. These are the 2 notches. So I'll just turn it inside out with a ruler before I'll go over to the ironing table to give it a good press. This is how it looks like after turning. So go over to the ironing table to give it a good press. So this is it after ironing. So after ironing, I make sure I bend one side inside, one part inside. You can see like so. You can see this is the second one as well. You can see we are bending the one part inside so as to achieve a neat finishing. So before stitching, I forgot to mention in the video, before making your pleat, make sure you hem the sides. I totally forgot to mention it earlier. So this is it. I've already hemmed the side. You can see it's hemmed already. This is the second side before making your pleats. You can do it after making your pleats, still the same thing. So we just bring over our band, we place it center to center. Remember, we've notched the band already, so you are placing the front side of the band to the wrong side of the fabric. That is the right side of the band to the wrong side of the main fabric, that is your clothes. Then you just place it and pin it down with an office pin before you go over to the sewing machine and stitch with half of an inch. This is I've done it already. This is how it looks like, half of an inch. This is it. This is it. So after that, remember the part that we bend, so we just turn it over like so and just stitch on it. I'm sure you saw what I did. So guys, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up and leave a comment. Thank you. So this is how it looks like so far. And we are almost done with the dress. So I'll just go over to my sewing machine. You place it right side to right side. I'll go over to my sewing machine and stitch with 1 inch. Sorry, that's for my seam. This is, just place it, make sure the two tallies together. So this is it. So you just start stitching with 1 inch all the way to the down. And make sure to follow the shape as well. So I've already done so, and this is how it looks like. And our dress is 98% ready. This is the second side. So after stitching it, you just go over to hem the down of the dress, and we are done. We are done with our dress, and this is how beautiful it's looking. And we have come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.